Hello, friends. Welcome to Coding Garden. If you are watching this not live, because this is a live stream, be sure to check the description or the pinned comment so you can skip ahead to the main content. In the meantime, we'll be in the waiting room, so I'll see you soon. Hello, friends. Welcome to Coding Garden. Welcome to a Friday listed stream where we will be working on an app that is built with SvelteKit and allows us to create, share, and watch lists of YouTube channels. If you haven't seen this app before, here it is. We have OAuth login with Google. You can click your Google account, you'll get redirected back, and then you can see some of the lists that I've created here. So for instance, I have a list called Svelte Channels. I've added Svelte Society, Svelte Mastery, and Joy of Code to it, and now I get a feed that has videos only from those 3 channels. You can click a video, it embeds it, it has all the metadata about it, and then you can create new lists as well. So you can search for channels. This hits the YouTube API, and then you can add those channels to your list, give your list a name, etc. And so this is the app. I have lots of different kinds of lists, like dev-related lists, things for like making. I like maker channels, and then also I like Good Mythical Morning. And so the GMM universe has most of the channels related to Good Mythical Morning and Rhett and Link all in this one list. And then this feed has all videos from all of those channels going all the way back to 17 years ago to some of the original like Rhett and Link videos. We got a lot of work to do in terms of like the flow and how it works whenever you're actually like looking at a list and watching videos and stuff like that. But we've been doing a lot of work in terms of like DevOps and GitHub Actions and CI/CD and stuff like that. So this thing is fully open source. We have 22 contributors besides myself that have added stuff to the code base. And you can see all the code on GitHub. And then also, if you watch 2 streams ago, I gave a big long spiel about the tech stack and what we've been working on and everything else. And if you're interested in all that stuff, definitely check out the playlists on YouTube. So there's a playlist that has all of the live streams. So this is live stream number 24. So if you go to cdg.sh/listed-series, and Pablo, thank you for the bits. Listed-series, that'll give you all of the live streams. Devlogs are a thing we were doing where we kind of summarized all the work we did into like a shorter video. We haven't done one in a while, so I'm going to do one today that kind of summarizes the past 5 or 6 live streams that we did. And then all the code is at cdg.sh/listed-code. So that takes you to this repo. And if you're curious about what UI kit we're using, or validation library, or database library, whatever else, you can read about it in here. Or like I said, check out 2 live streams ago when I gave a rundown of all that stuff. But yeah, welcome in, everyone. Glad to see you. I will show you how to customize your chat messages. And I'll also show the chat because I forgot to bring that up. But welcome in. Good to see you. It's been a while. How are you? How's your day? Yeah, Rear Window Soda says, seems great. I've been watching archive VODs and saw you testing full stack frameworks for this project. It's come a long way. Yeah, it has. It's been a long time coming too. All right, so first, before I say hello to everyone, I'm going to show you how to customize your chat messages. So you can see Rear Window Soda figured it out. They have their country flag set to some province in Poland, I'm guessing. And then they have their team set to PHP. But you can see, for instance, like Pablo has their flag set to somewhere in Italy, and also their team set to SvelteKit. Ched has their flag set to the Denver, Colorado flag, and their team set to JavaScript. So I'm going to show you Greater Poland is the province. Nice. I'll show you how to do that. So all the info on badges and everything else are at these links, which will pop up here. So what you need to do first to set your country flag is !flag followed by a 2-character country code. So for me, the US is the 2-character country code. So if I do that, now my messages will have the US flag on them. like that. Um, and again, it has to be a 2-character country code. If you want to set it to a province or city, you can check out our flags repository. So if you go to this repository, it's one that we maintain. And if you see a folder for your country code, that means that provinces also exist. So for instance, like if we look at US, we have states and provinces, one and the same. So you can see all of these states exist. So if I wanted to set my flag to Denver, I could do flag US / or sorry, if I want to set it to Colorado, US/CO, because the CO, the Colorado folder, exists within here, and then also the flag exists here as an SVG file. So if I do flag US/CO, that will set it to the Colorado flag. It didn't seem to work. Try again? There we go. I think it might have been cached. But you can see this is the Colorado flag. And then if you're looking at this repo and it goes even deeper than that, you can set it to a specific city flag. So if I go into that Colorado folder, we can see that there's 2 cities. We have Denver and Colorado Springs. So if I want to set it to Denver, I can do flag US/CO/Denver. Basically, we're following the path here after SVG, and we don't include .svg. And that will let you set a flag to be a city. Yeah, there we go. So now you can see it's the Denver, Colorado flag versus the state Colorado flag. To set your team, it's a similar thing, but you need to find your team. So your team can come from the Font Awesome brand cheat sheet. So if you go to this link, there's a bunch of different icons that you can choose from. You'll just pick their name that's listed here, and then do !team followed by that name. But also you can go to Simple Icons. Simple Icons has quite a bit more, and you're going to want to use the slug to be able to set it from Simple Icons. If you go directly to the Simple Icons website, you can get a preview of all the ones they support. Right now my team is JavaScript. Let me change my team. Let's pick another one. Nice. People are figuring it out. Yeah. Svelte 5 preview will happen on the 20th. Nice. Nice. Yeah. Let's see. I'm going to choose Android because I use an Android phone. So in here, I can say team, put the team name, and then now all of my messages will have that team on it like that. I'll also say if you're on Twitch chat, your team and your flag can actually be different because right now they're different accounts. We don't have a way of linking them. Eventually, we'll have a way that you can link your accounts so you don't have to set it twice. But that sets that. And then lastly, you can set the color. Do we have that in this message? I'm pretty sure it's team color like this, and then a hex code. So let's pick a hex code like this purple. So if I do this, now my team badge will be this specific color. Yeah, like that, which is not very readable at all. So I'm going to set it back to green. But you can pick any hex color and then set your team badge to be that color. What's the coding garden green? I'll just look it up. Might I suggest to change the YouTube messages to a red border instead of a red fill? You know what? I mean, I kind of agree with you. They're very red. They're very loud right now. I'm not opposed to that change, and it would be a pretty quick change. So let's do it. I think it'll be a quick change anyways. Let's see. So if we look at the Coding Garden chat card. The background color is set to a computed property background color. Yeah. I don't think it's not going to be easy, but I think I'll do it because I agree. Those messages are too red. They're too in your face. Let me get some water. So I think what we'll do is the background color will always be this. But then the border color will be this. Right? But we'll now have to use this border color prop. Yeah, so now everything's purple. But if we're going to change the border, we're going to pass that down to this component. So say border color is border color. And then on the SvelteKit chat card, we need to take in a prop called border color now. It's going to be similar. And then we have this chat card. I guess we'll set a variable for it. Whoa, Shafayette, thank you for the support. Been a while. How to understand the core of a programming language. We'll talk about that in a second, but I appreciate you. Thank you for the supports. I guess I can give you my opinions on it. I think the hard answer is practice. That's practice and experimentation is really how you can understand it. Reading the docs, that kind of thing. I don't have any shortcuts. It just takes work, I think. All right, so now we need a class for the border color. And message, is the message set on the whole card? No, we have chat card. Where's chat card? Chat card is here. We're not setting the border anywhere. So we're going to say, let's say like 2 pixels, solid border color. That didn't do much. And Verwindo Soda, thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate that. Why don't I use Tailwind? I do, just not in this app. This is a different app where I didn't start using Tailwind. Let's see. Does this work at all? Like if I do 2 pixel solid black. Okay. That does a thing. Oh. But our color prop is not making it through. Maybe I just need to refresh the app. Yeah, what's up, Bram? We'll say hi to everybody in a second. We're still waiting for people to get into the stream as well. Do var border color. Yeah, there we go. That's it. We've done it. So now anything with a red border is coming from YouTube. I mean, technically there's a bug right now where we don't trust this user. That's why their color isn't the right Twitch color. So That's the thing. Honestly, I'll make it less bold too. I don't like how, or less thick. I don't like how big the border is. Thanks. um, yeah, let's not do 10 pixels. Let's try for 5. .5. I like that better. What about the YouTube dark background color for the background color of the card? What is the, like, this color? This color? I don't know. I don't know. Also, I think a way to fix the trusted user color is to, for now, return this. To do, figure out why messages are not trusted. There we go. I am a master at programming. I don't know about that. I don't know about all that, but that's enough work there for now. To answer Shafayette's question, how do you understand the core of a programming language? Practice. I think if you're coming from another programming language and you're trying to learn a new one, I would also say do your best to not make assumptions about the language and do your best to not try and treat the language like the old language that you were working in. So for example, a lot of developers that come from C# or Java or some other statically typed language that come into JavaScript make a lot of assumptions because JavaScript looks like those other languages. But there are a lot of things about JavaScript that are just different. And you could say some of those things about JavaScript are not intuitive, which is fine. But at the same time, if you stop trying to treat it like C# or Java and you understand the language decisions that were made and how it actually works, you'll have a better time using it. And then you'll be, yeah, I think you'll be more generally happy as well. I think all the people that get really mad at JavaScript for doing the things that it does, a lot of them are just hoping that it's some other language instead of embracing the language that it is. So how do you understand the core of a language? Embrace the language, try not to make assumptions, and do a lot of experimentation and reading the docs and stuff like that. Oh, I see. So that's different than a programming language. What you're asking is, when I open a library source code, I get lost. What's the best practice to understand others' code? Yeah, that's a different question. But the answer is, again, practice. The only way you're going to get good at reading other people's code is by reading other people's code. Now, there are some steps you can take and like tricks you can typically do when you're trying to learn a thing. Like when I get into a new code base, let's say I get onto a new team and there's something I need to implement. Typically I start with just searching the entire code base for a keyword that I think is related to the thing that I'm trying to fix, right? So for example, let's say I'm working on this app listed and it's my task to change the color of this create button. Well, how am I going to figure that out? I could, especially if I don't know where everything is in the code base, it might take me a second to determine, okay, what page is this even on, or whatever else. But actually, I will put this as a challenge to you all. In the chat, go to the. This is an exercise for everyone that's watching right now. Go to the listed repo, and I want you to link me the line of code that would allow me to change the color of this button. I'm gonna give you 3 minutes to do it, but this is the repo. I want you to find where is that button. That's your first task in learning how to navigate other people's code bases. And even if you don't know what SvelteKit is, try and find it. Now, I will say it's going to be a little bit tricky because we are also using an internationalization library. So if you and I'll give you a hint. You probably should search the code base for the word create. That's where I start, right? If I know that this is what I'm trying to change, I'll search the code base for the word create and see where it pops up. Now in this code base, it's not going to pop up where you think it is. It's not actually on the button. We actually have a separate place where we store all of our text, but you could find the name of that token and then search the code base for that token. But yeah, I'll put 3 minutes on the clock. First person to find the exact line of code where that button is gets invisible imaginary bonus points. Yeah, and Veeb says, something that really helped me out when I was new at my job was to find the closest existing thing to what you're trying to do and go off of that. Yeah, exactly. So like, if you can't find where this button is, maybe try to find where the list is. Or you could also, in a web app, specifically if you're looking at the URL, you could try to determine, all right, well, based on the framework that I'm working in, that means that this file will exist in a specific spot or something like that. List form line 55. That's not it. That's not it. That's actually where this button is, because we have other create buttons. We want the create button on the home page. I think Griffin might have gotten it. Not quite. Not. I mean, actually, I know you're totally right. If I want to change the text of the button, it's not actually where the button is. It's where it is. There. I won't click it yet. If anybody else wants to keep looking for it. Yeah. But yeah, that's basically my advice. Is just start. Command Shift F the whole code base to try and find a thing. The more you do it, the better you'll get at it. And yeah, that's mainly it. I think one of the issues is a lot of, depending on where you learned to code, no one really focuses on the skill of reading other people's code. And that's something that you typically have to do a lot when you're in the workforce. So yeah, my advice is practice. Just practice and use the search tool. And then depending on the kind of language that you're working in, you could also use things like go to definition and stuff like that. That might make it easier to find things. What's up, 12336 Jesus? Glad to see you. Yeah, oh, I forgot. You can't send links in YouTube chat. If you just want to say the name of the file and the line number, that's okay too. Yeah, I'm doing good. Glad to see you. All right. But I mean, honestly, I could even treat my own code base like it's a code base I've never been into. So let's do it. I'm gonna search my whole code base for the word create. And specifically create in quotes because I assume it's going to be a string of some kind. And so this is searching every file in the code base. You'll see that it also is searching this .SvelteKit folder. I kind of want to ignore that folder. Yeah, well, yeah, basically any of these files where it was found in the output are not what I want. I want to find files that are in the actual code base itself. So anything relevant will be in the source directory. So a lot of this is just like extra. These are all like build. Why is this searching just build? I actually don't even see where it actually is. All right, let's search without quotes. See if we get closer. Was it doing case sensitive? Oh, you know what? I think because it's literally in single quotes is why we couldn't find it. But there it is. It's right there. Yeah, so I searched for double quotes and single quotes. In this case, with single quotes, it also popped up. If you were in a code base that wasn't using internationalization, you also could just do this. And then you'd have to like parse through the files and stuff. But let's say, all right, I found it. This is where it is being set. And and then I could update it here. But you can see this is basically like an object that has all of the translated tokens, and you change it here, and then it actually gets pulled in. That's one way to find it. The other way is to go like top down. Like you know what page you're on in the app, and you know the state of the user, so you can try to navigate the code base accordingly. So right now we're on the home page. So if I look in the source directory, I mean, I would first have to know a little bit about the code base that I'm in. Like I know that I'm in SvelteKit, so I know that pages exist in the routes folder. And then I know that the home page would be like plus page.svelte. So if I'm trying to fix something on the home page, I would guess that it would be on the home page, which is this file right here. And then specifically, it's like right below the nav bar. So like this is actually it. And so if I arrived here first, I would basically see, oh, there is a button here, but it doesn't actually have the word create. It uses this translation thing. And then I would need to figure out, oh, well, what is that translation thing? And then eventually you would realize that, oh, you do actually have to go over here to the internationalization folder, change this token, and then that would actually update it on the page. All of that to say, just do it. just like search the code base, get familiar with the code base, get familiar with the framework. That's basically how you're going to be able to like navigate the code base. So yeah, I think the correct answer is technically in, yeah. So I mean, and that's the other thing is if you look for a button, maybe it could be a link that has a class of button. It's not going to be super easy, but honestly, I think you could come up with tasks like this for yourself to get better at it. Like you could pick an open source project, spin it up, pick something on the page and be like, all right, let me try and find where that, is on the page. But I think like the correct answer, I think came from, was it Griffin? Yeah, it came from Griffin. Technically, it's in the internationalization file. It's not the page itself. You could have updated it on the page, but that would have gotten kicked back in a code review because we want the tokens to all be in the same place. Yeah. Well, thank you, Amasil, who says I'm looking dapper today. Yeah. American 2050 says, listed is not only impossible to navigate, but it's impossible to set up. That's on purpose. Like, look, I'm going to be a little bit tongue-in-cheek right now, but someone opened like 5, 6 pull requests, and I literally spent 2 hours reviewing them this morning. Like, you're just making more work for me. Stop trying to help. Yeah, I'm just gonna close all of BAP's pull requests. I don't know what your Twitch name is, BAP, but you can let me know, and we'll just ban you from the chat because like this is not how you like you don't go to someone else's code base and then tell them that the way they accept changes is wrong. And not to be mean, this is probably also why you don't have a job right now. Like this is not how you contribute and not how you communicate with others. So like you wasted my time, you wasted yours. Stop. No, I didn't mean to do that. Why? Okay, so I mean there's multiple reasons here, but they opened an issue disagreeing with all of our prettier rules. And then I explained why we have those rules. And then they also, one of their issues was like, I don't like pre-commit hooks, but then now they're complaining that they had the linter wrong on all of their PRs, so they had to fix it. But if they would have ran the tests or would have had pre-commit hooks working or running locally, then they would have known that before they made the pull request. So. No, I didn't mean to do that. GitHub has a caching issue. Thank you, Griffin. Thank you for the resub. What's up, Limotes? Welcome in. Yeah, I mean, but I think that's the whole point. I think I'll leave a comment really quick just so they have context. I think it was this one. Yeah, we fixed that right when the stream started. Quote reply. If you would have run the pre-commit hooks, you would have seen this. Closing your PRs. Thanks for the suggestions, but we will not accept your changes until you follow the contributing guides. Great, let's keep going. But as you can see, like, I mean, here's the thing. It took me 2 hours to review their code. It took me probably 20 minutes to respond cordially to their message about, and you can see the closed issue, their message about Prettier. Well, yeah, well, I mean, listen, they're dishing it out. I'm returning it back. They said I wasted their time. No, they literally wasted my time. Let's improve the developer experience. I mean, like, I understand it. Like, I get why these are potential rules that you would want. And they also talked about how we should use PNPM instead, and talked about how pre-committed hooks are not good. But I gave them a cordial response. So I don't know. We're going to keep moving. And basically, let it be a lesson. Just stop trying to help. There will be other projects where you will be able to contribute, and it will be easier. But at this point, this project has so much baggage that it's more work than it's worth, honestly. I guess until we get it to a certain point, I don't know. Here we go. Yeah, I need to do some just like talking streams. It's been a while, but we got work to do. Let's get into it. The plan for today is to mostly get things cleaned up and get a devlog recorded for the changes that we made over like the past 6 or so streams. Uses the wrong Prettier rules. We're using the ESLint Airbnb config. Again, like, this is not a conversation that's worth having. We already agreed on it, and if you don't agree with those rules and you don't want to follow those rules, just don't contribute. It's not worth, like, you're wasting our time by arguing about it because we've already decided on it. Okay. One of the things we need to figure out is how to remove test IDs. Did I readjust the camera? I tried to. I'm gonna keep moving though. I appreciate. Yeah, I'm rolling up my sleeve and getting ready for work. But check it out. And Mark Boots, thank you for the tier 1. For the tests that we have written, you can see that we're using test ID selectors. And Veeb, thank you for that. It's been a while since we did focus mode. We'll do focus mode. Yeah. Those rules are meant to be imposed on person, not vice versa. I don't know if I understand that, but I think I agree with it. Let's see. This test didn't have a test ID. This one, yeah. So you can see that in a lot of our tests, we are selecting elements using their test ID. Now, for a lot of use cases, you don't want to do this because you want to make sure that you're also testing for accessibility by choosing like roles and stuff like that. But we eventually just settled on using test IDs. So we literally use these to select them and test against them. And so, for example, this view list test, if you look at it in the routes, so if we look at routes, list by ID, this one here, we specifically have a data test ID on this element. So one thing we want to do is when we build this for production, we want to strip out all of the test IDs. Like when the environment variable specifically isn't test, if it's prod, then all of these need to get ripped out because we don't want those to show up in production. So that's one thing we're gonna have to research today. I actually have no idea how to do it. I'm hoping that there's some kind of what do you call it? I don't think I understand, but I think I agree. Potentially some kind of Vite plugin that will remove those test IDs. Yeah. So there's that. We also need to update the contributing guide. I think, yeah, we'll work on this first because we need to do a little research to figure out how to do that. And then we need to work on the contributing guide because right now we added all these ways of running tests, but we haven't documented how to do that. So if you're someone that does want to contribute, you'll need to run the test to make sure that they pass. And we need to write documentation to make sure that people know how to run those tests. And then the other thing is we need a better workflow for writing new tests. So let's say you're working on one specific new feature. You don't want to have to run the entire test suite every time you make one small change for that new feature. So we need to be able to run the tests in watch mode and run them against only one specific set of things that are changing instead of running the whole suite. So we'll have to figure out how to do that. No, we haven't been doing it as TDD. We coded a bunch of stuff up, and then we added the tests after the fact. Yeah, we need tests for our tests. But so that's the plan for today. Let's say hi to everyone. Let's welcome everyone in, and then we'll get going. So if you'd like me to say hi to you, you can say hi, hello, hello, hey, yo, cheers, greetings, hi, up, what's up, morning, afternoon, evening, howdy, good day, coding, hi-yo, vohayo, or bogahe. Say any one of these things. I will acknowledge you, and then we'll get to coding. We'll get to coding. So we're gonna go back in time, 56 minutes ago. SQL Gordster was the first to say hello. What's up, SQL Gordster? Good to see you. What's up, Zelino and Amasil and Rear Window Soda and Neko-chan? What's up, Ched and Griffin and Hadi and Demerka? What's up, Everything Pro? What's up, Veeb and Pobplip and Paolo? Good to see you. And Hard Hit, welcome in. Hello, Yurisco and Jonah Joe. What's up, Lemore and Brahm and Saint Lolek and Siraj and Millen and Harvey and Jonah Joe. And 12336 Jesus, glad to see you. What's up, K To-Dos or K Todos and Limotes and Eddie and Night Rocks and Margot, good to see you. And Naresh and Mark Boots and Mark Boots again and Salahuddin. It's been a while. Welcome in, Salahuddin. Glad to see you. And Binya Minerdal, good to see you. And Stof, welcome in, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's do some research. So like I said, we want to remove these test IDs in prod. The whole build process here is using Vite. So I'm hoping there is some kind of Vite plugin for removing test IDs. And thank you, Jayadeep. I appreciate that. All right, we're going to go back into focus mode, and I'm going to set a 15-minute timer to work on this. This was a Vite plugin I asked ChatGPT to write. Remove playwright test IDs. Oh, is it that simple? let's search the web for that though. So, Vite plugin remove test ID. Yeah, remove specified HTML attributes in the prod build. This is closed, so I'm curious if I think a custom view compiler transform is the cleanest and probably the most performant way to go about this. Here's the Webpack version. Looks like they didn't come up with a solution. This is related to Vue, not Vite. We might just use what Veeb suggested. I mean, is it really that simple, though? It looks pretty simple. Why has no one published it? Vite plugin test ID? Remove test ID? Babel remove data test ID? Babel TypeScript transformer remove test ID? All right, we're just gonna copy this code from Veeb and make it happen. Where should we put this, though? Do we create a directory for Vite and then a directory inside of that called plugins? Let's try that. All right, we'll try it, Veeb, because I mean my initial web searches didn't find anything. So we will create a folder called Vite, and then a folder in there called plugins, and then inside of there we'll create one called remove test IDs. And the thing is, if this doesn't work, we can look at the Vite docs for how to make a plugin and then get it working. But and I'll talk about it in a second, like what it's going to actually do. ESLint, yeah, so we have to tell TypeScript that it needs to look in this folder as well. So in our TS config, we need to point it at the Vite plugins folder. And then import never used. That's not true. We're using it right here. I guess, do we want type? Yeah. Okay, so this specifically returns the test IDs. It's going to replace data playwright ID with nothing. What we actually called it, though, was data test ID like this. So we're going to change this to be that. Great. The thing is, we only want to load this plugin if we're in the test env. So we'll do that accordingly. So now that we have this plugin in our Vite config, we'll push it in here. So if the node env is equal to test, we're adding the Istanbul one, but then we also want to add the remove test IDs plugin. So we'll import that in, we'll add it. Does push accept 2 arguments? We'll just write it twice. If it's not, actually, if it's not test. Yeah. So else if the env, we don't even need an if. Okay. Suggest a space in front of and behind. Yeah, I'm not opposed to it. But basically, if the environment isn't test, we want to remove the test IDs. I spelled remove wrong? We'll fix that. Push does accept multiple arguments. That's good. But in this case, we won't need it. Yeah, remove test-ids. And then if we put a space around it, no, like that, 0 more of anything except for a quote, like that. I like white space. Yeah, that's good. All right, let's try it. I guess technically right now, if we run the preview, this is running the built code. And for example, if we look at this list, it should not have a test ID in it. Test ID, app bar, and app shell. When did we add those? The thing is, those are in like the main entry point, it looks like. Oh, wait a second. Are those in... Are those in the skeleton library? Replace the whole thing with a space. I think they are. So just to confirm, yeah, ours are test ID with no space. But yeah, just to confirm, where would it have existed? Because if we look on the home page, the list of lists, there are no test IDs on this page. Okay. Well, if we go to a specific list, oh, good call, Veeb. But yeah, I think skeleton actually includes test IDs in their build. That's what we're seeing. But yeah, you're totally right. We should do something like data banana equals $1. Oh, it's not there. No, it's not working. Because data test ID list title. Is still there. Let's see if we can even tell if this is running. It is. Okay, so this is running. It's running transform on every file. The thing is it? Yeah, it's coming. It is coming across Svelte files. Did my parentheses mess it up? No. Um, let's look at the Vite docs for how they create plugins. See if we're doing anything crazy. Oh, yeah, this white space is optional, right? Yeah, I think yeah, I think that's it. Data test ID channel card list. No white space. Well, that's fascinating. It's matching them. It's matching them um in the skeleton library. When it comes across these things, it's matching them. Um, and then you can see here it did find them. Does replace accept a regular expression? Here's the thing, it's finding them. There they are. Right there. Um, yeah, like optional white space. Well, the /G is what makes it global. No, uh, replace does accept a regular expression. Our timer is up, but I feel like we're close. So I'm gonna put another 7 minutes on the clock. If we can't get it working, I'm not gonna work on this for now. Vite plugin React remove attributes. Not all cases tested yet. Use with care. Let's see what they did. Um, filter valid file is roll up plugin utils. Include these files, exclude those files. You can find all the info about listed with this command. And thank you, Murdoch. I don't know if I missed that, but thank you for the 9 months. Did they walk the abstract syntax tree? Huh. Apply build? Yeah, maybe. Because but it's technically running, but yeah, maybe it's not running at the right time. Let's try it. And thank you, Dr. Phantom. Thanks for the tier 1. Hello, hello, hello. It is still there. Yeah, this is what I want to see. So it matches against it, we replace it, and then it doesn't match against it. Matches. These. And Niraj, thank you for becoming a YouTube member. I appreciate that. Yeah, we changed the style at the beginning of the stream. So now we're printing the name of the file and whether or not it matched. Like this. So modal, and then these are what matched. And then once we replaced it, it doesn't match anymore. Huh. Okay. This might not be what we're doing. Again, I think we need to go back to the docs because I started reading them and then I left. Plugin API. Authoring a plugin. Transforming custom file types. Give it a name. If it matches, huh. Oh, you're probably right, Veeb. But here's the thing, though. Our code is running. Our code is running and returning. So where? I feel like this SvelteKit plugin needs to be first. Yeah, thanks for being here, Noeeve. But your comments are not helpful because we're doing other things. So I'm just gonna time you out for now. If we're working on something and you tell us to just do something else, that's not helpful to what we're working on right now. All right, let's try again. No, they're still there. Just use jQuery. Listen. Listen. Yeah, I wouldn't call it toxic. I think it's just setting rules of engagement, right? Like I think some people may not be used to people responding to their chat messages, but I responded, and it's kind of annoying because we're very clearly in a very large app that we can't just drop and use Astro instead. So yeah, that's all. We're just gonna open an issue and not work on this because I mean we're doing it. I don't know if we're missing anything because it's definitely running, and this piece of code is running. Great. This is Friday number 24, but we've literally only ever worked on it every Friday. So yeah, technically it's been 24 weeks, but we've only ever touched it on Friday for 24 24 Fridays. You think I should use PHP? All right, I'll just delete the whole folder and start over. Yeah, this isn't working. This isn't working. So, what will we do? 6-month anniversary? Or Twitch sub, YouTube member for what? Rewrite it with HTMX? Listen, guys, listen. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna stash these changes. Oh, I see. 24 weeks old. I see. All right. We tried. Didn't work. For now, I'll just delete this Vite plugins folder, and we will come back to it later. Never had this issue in Fortran. Stop it. Stop it. So we tried doing that. Let me just add a note. Did not get Vite plugin working. So, right now, the stream schedule always gets posted to here. It's not posted for next week. I typically post the stream schedule on Monday, and I'll also let you know about it in the mailing list. So if you join the mailing list every Monday, I send out what days I'll be live that week. All right, let's keep moving. We've only been here for an hour, everybody. Everything's gonna be fine. Everything will be okay. Yeah, I mean that's basically the story of this entire app. We tried so hard in the end. Does it matter? Does anything matter? But here's what we want to do now. I want to figure out the correct workflow for running tests in watch mode. So let's try to do that. I'm going to create a branch. I'm going to create a new branch, get checkout-b, update contributing guide. Yeah. So now we're on a new branch. And this is where we're going to try to do tests in watch mode. So right now, if we do npm run test end-to-end, this will kill any test Docker containers, recreate any test Docker containers, migrate the database, seed the database, build the app, and then run the playwright tests. But this does everything. This does that. Does it all. We want to be able to run one specific test that we're working on, and not have to run the whole test suite, because this takes a long time. As you can see, it's still running. It hasn't even run the test yet. The build just finished, and now it's going to spin up playwright, and it has 11 tests that need to run. Yeah, I'm just drinking water right now. I appreciate that. Shipok Humako. So yeah, test pass. Good to go. But we don't want to have to do that every time we're working on a new thing. Yeah, see you later, No Weave. You're welcome back anytime. It's just try to stay on topic and stay productive. Does it also buy groceries? Does what buy groceries? Our listed app? Okay. I do believe we started working on a watch command. So yeah, test watch. So we have a separate Docker file called test watch. And I think we're going to need to make sure that this is up to date with our other one, because we did make some changes to this last time. What's up, Ethereal? Welcome in. We don't have the depends on. I think we need that. We need this depends on here. What's up, Suraj? Yeah, we're in the future right now. There's a lot for listed, honestly. It's a lot. It's a lot. Okay, so this should be good. We're not going to analyze it, but like I said, they're welcome back. Like I'm not. If you do something wrong, you're not banned forever. I want to tell you what we think you did wrong, and you can decide whether or not you want to adjust your behavior. if you don't, you will get banned. But if not, you're welcome to hang out here. We're very forgiving here. Oh, I see. Because we're extending Docker compose.test, we actually don't need depends on, because it'll pull all of that in automatically from the other Docker compose. And Shepo, thank you for being a YouTube member. I appreciate that. A lot of new members today. I was thinking about like revamping. I need to create a new video that talks about like the perks for being a member on YouTube. You do get access to these cool little emotes when you're on our channel. Though, yeah, I still need to update the chat overlay to actually parse these emotes. But that's a fun little perk. You get emotes, and you'll also get a little icon next to your name, like Murdoch has there. So that's a fun thing. Okay, so when we run this, it's going to spin up the container. One of the things it does is it maps a volume in the current directory to the app directory in the container. And what that does is any file changes in what do you call it? Yeah, any file changes that happen in this directory will potentially restart the app. Now, I think what we need to do, though, is we kind of need a watch command that's like, anytime the files change, recreate the database and then run the tests. I think that's the issue. That's the thing that we kind of need to discuss here, right? Is like, if we're running tests in like watch mode, are we pointed at the test database? I would assume that we are, but that means every time we save the file, we need to put the database back into its original state so that the test would pass accordingly. Yeah. I'm always curious, when you look behind the screen to talk about code, do you have an additional screen there, or do I just look at the wall? Am I looking? I don't think I'm ever looking behind. Here, I'll give you a little behind the scenes. So I'm looking at this monitor. That's where the code is. That's where my screen is. And I'm pointing like this at a blue screen. But I think, so because my monitor is right there, it looks like I'm looking at the code. It looks like I'm pointing at the code too. Run tests in interactive UI mode with a built-in watch mode. Yeah, I think that's probably the way to go. But I do think we need to reseed the database every time the tests run again, because otherwise the database is going to be in the wrong state. Am I crazy there? Does everyone agree with that? Oh, and Mark, thank you for becoming a droplet. I appreciate that. Oh, well, the issue is we can't run UI mode from the thing running inside the container. I think what we want to do is I feel like this. And Mark, thank you for becoming a member. Was that the same one? Yeah, it was. That was just a little delayed. Here's my thought. I feel like this kind of needs to be like a repeatable command. So I kind of want to run it. I want to create a script for it. Let's uh, just follow me for a second. So we'll have something like watch. No, we'll have one called create test-db, and that will literally run these commands. Init the database, seed it, generate the client. Shebang in bash. Yeah. So we should be able to just say, we now should be able to replace this with scripts / create SDV. And Shepo, thank you for the donation. People are being very generous today. I do appreciate it. That's awesome. I wonder if they show a different currency icon based on your location. I think they do. Yeah, I'm not familiar with because yeah, these are ZAR, and then earlier we had what was it? Yeah, SGD. So yeah, thank you everyone. I appreciate it. I really do. I appreciate it. Okay, so we created that script. We need to give it executable privileges. So I'm going to chmod plus x that file. So scripts create test-db. And then let's see if this will still work when we run the regular test suite. Because that's really all we want is like this also gets generated, or also, I'm sorry, this also gets run like so. South African Rand. Nice. So if we do tests, those will now attempt to run this script, and if that works, then we know that we've like isolated that section there. Didn't work. I guess we need the full path because the working directory needs to look like that. Not found. Oh, good call. Good call. Yeah, no file extension. Cool. So it's doing migrate dev, etc., etc. Okay, so we're on the right track. At least we've extracted that out into its own file. Because my thought is, anytime the files change, that needs to be run. And so I think what we need to do now is just npm run dev. Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking, Masapa, is like, so now that we know what we need to run, we use something like nodemon to do all the things anytime there are file changes. So like, Yeah. Well, we have to install nodemon in the container. Or do we have access to it? Do we already have nodemon? Let's see. I think we already have nodemon. I thought we did. We don't have nodemon. I'm going to install nodemon. Listen. Listen. Isn't nodemon vulnerable? To what? Might have been an older version. So yeah, I think what I'm also thinking now is like we have another script that's called like test watch. Test watch debug? And Siraj, thank you for becoming a member. Very kind. So something like npx nodemon. Oh, no. We're going to run nodemon on this file, but this thing will create the test DB. It will then run the app in development, and then it will run playwright test. Here's the thing, though. Our playwright config is already trying to run preview. And if we're just trying to debug, I don't think we want to run the preview. Man. I mean, I guess we could build every time. But that also seems like it's a lot. Yeah, that's my thing. I think Bun is still new. I think we want our npm installs to be faster. We want our runtime to be faster. Bun is doing things that we want. But there are still things that aren't fully ready about it. And then Bun is not doing a lot of the things that Dino is doing, which is what I think the ecosystem also needs, which is like more security around what happens when your scripts are running and what do they have access to. Like Dino has a lot of controls around that, and Bun is just doing the node thing or has access to everything. Okay, this is what I'm thinking. It will attempt to run test watch, which will create the database, run the build, run the tests. We're going to need a way to like pass in a test name, like the name of the test that we want to run, but let's just see if this works. Like if this reruns the tests every time. Yeah. I didn't miss the train. Like I literally, at this point I could care less. At this point, I'm about to drop TypeScript and just move to C#. That's where I'm at. I'm okay to wait 30 more seconds for my packages to install. Yeah, it's not that big a deal. It's like, how often do you do an npm install? I guess technically, like your test runs might run a little faster. All right, we need to add executable privileges to scripts/watch test, and then now we're going to try to run this file, which is going to do that. And Acid Spark, thank you for becoming a member. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Move to C#. What did I miss? No, I mean, I don't think you missed anything because I haven't talked about it a lot. But yeah, so TypeScript is just a worse C#, and the JavaScript ecosystem is so much less mature than the C#.NET ecosystem. Like, there is one de facto ORM that everyone uses in C# and .NET, and it's really good. It's Entity Framework. So you don't have to worry about like what's the best library to use. You just use that one. The types are built like they're meant to be there because they're in the language itself. It's not just types added on to a language afterwards. Yeah. Do I need to still add npx run dev? I think I put that in the script though. Yeah, it should be in the script because this one's gonna run. Oh, I thought, but here's the thing: Playwright already does that. Oh, it runs preview. Yeah, so we build and then it previews. Let's just try it though. Try it and see. So if we run this command, docker up test watch, that's going to spin up that container, run the thing, and then it should be, if the files change, it's going to rerun the tests. Well, reset the database and then rerun the tests. So we do docker up test watch. Let's see what happens. Why not just use assembly? That's a lot of work. We want less work. All right. Yeah, I appreciate that, Acid Spark. The biggest problem is Windows. No, you can use .NET. It's fully cross-platform now. It's yeah, it's fully cross-platform. You can use it on Linux. You can use it on Mac. You think you solved the Vite plugin issue? The plugin needs enforce pre option. Otherwise, you're trying to replace the string in the compiled JS. Oh. And then it doesn't. Things are happening. All right, I need to fix this, but I'm open to it. If you open an issue, or even a pull request, that'd be great. All right. Unique constraint failed on the field ID. Yeah, this has to do something with like not wiping the database. We need to wipe the database. I thought maybe, I think there's maybe a command. Oh, also, I think we need to tell NodeMon to ignore the node modules folder because this command is affecting the node modules folder. I think, or this one. All right, how do we tell NodeMon? And actually, now that I think about it, I think we need to ignore the SvelteKit folder because npm run build changes the SvelteKit folder, so we'll ignore that because we only want to rebuild or whenever the changes outside of that change. So how can we tell NodeMon to ignore? Do we create a config file? We do -- ignore. Let's do it. So we want to ignore the svelte-kit folder and the build folder. Can you have multiple arguments? Try again. Oh, it's running the tests. Okay. And then the test failed, and so it's trying to run again. But the first time the test failed, I think are for a different reason than the ID not being unique. Cannot read properties of null reading onboarded. That's the user settings. Is that the user settings bug? I don't think our tests, our seeds are running. Let's see. If we don't run the build, let's see what happens. Because this should be running. Yeah. I have a video on stopping or avoiding memory leaks in a Next.js or React app. No, I've never done anything like that. Maybe I do need that, Dr. Phantom. We'll look into it. Yeah. What's up, Adam? It's been too long. Hopefully you're doing all right. Hopefully you can hear me. You're watching on YouTube. Good to see you though. Thanks for being here. Hopefully you're all right. Yeah, let's look at the Prisma docs for the reset flag. That's good. Glad to hear it. How to reset a Prisma database. Oh. Scroll to the end. Resetting and seeding. Let's try that. Prisma DB. Seed. -- reset. Oh, I guess the other thing is we should be sending those containers down, which we weren't doing. Unknown or unexpected argument. And Melez, thank you for the prime. Yeah, we should look at the latest docs because that might be the case. The other thing is though, I am realizing now that I don't think we're spinning the containers down like we are with the regular tests, and that's also why it would be complaining about like an ID. So yeah, basically we need to do down test watch. And hey, Odd from DevBoy, nice, good to see you. Should we have another another command for it? Something like Docker test watch. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. Or just test watch. And so when you run test watch, it will spin the containers down, which will prevent the duplicate ID error. And then it'll spin them up. Docker up test watch command not found. I guess we do have one. We have test end-to-end watch. That's the command we want. Okay, so it created the containers. Generating. And then it doesn't like our dash dash reset. So that's what we need to fix. We do have a lot of scripts. That's just the way it is, at least for right now. We will look at what Dr. Phantom is sending us. Force reset. Yeah, let's see how they do it in the docs. Force reset. So maybe something like Prisma db push force reset. Is that what we need? Yeah, so instead of running migrate, we do db push. All right, something's happening. Oh, yeah, I think the issue is so if we use nodemon, it's like we have a bunch of dev tasks that are generating files in our directory. And so nodemon, yeah, it's looping. So nodemon will restart because like this file in the Prisma folder, this ERD file gets recreated. Oof. So we're also going to ignore the Prisma folder. Am I correct in thinking that the test IDs should always be removed unless we're testing? Yeah, that's my understanding. Or that's how I want to implement it. So yeah, if the tests are running, don't remove them. Otherwise, remove them. Generated the database. It just is we're in a loop. We're in a loop. How can we tell nodemon to tell us why it's restarting? That'll help us. Like nodemon is restarting. Is there like a debug command? Nodemon config files. Yeah, I think at this point we probably should create a nodemon config file. Another config, but I want to know why is nodemon restarting so that I can ignore those folders. Verbose true? Verbose? I just saw your message, Veeb. Permanent solution. Just ignore the whole source directory. All right. So now Does it tell us what file changed? Ignoring SvelteKit, build, and Prisma. Watching paths. Watching extensions. Oh, we need to tell it to watch TS as well. So that's a thing. At this point, we should just create a config file. Man. Here we are. Oh! Why are all of these getting recreated? What the heck? What the heck? That is that. I think that is literally what's restarting it. So we want to ignore all of these. We want to tell it to use nodemon.config. Or nodemon.json. And then we also need to tell it to watch for TypeScript files. File type? Extension? -E. Like that. TS Svelte JS. And then this file keeps getting recreated. We need to stop that. Why is it happening? Look at all these. Vite. Why are those getting created? Oh. Apparently, there were other files before that. Because that got generated because of the control C. Now I did it again. Let's just try it one more time. Table Prisma migrations does not exist. Successfully reset. Your database is now in sync with your Prisma schema. Running playwright test. Oh, it was actually running the tests. Wait, why did I kill it? All right, let's leave it. We'll leave it. I thought it restarted, but I don't think it's restarting. Oh, at the same time, it's not looking at the config file. I forgot. Somebody might have told me, but I need to do this. Nodemon.json. All right. Yeah, ignoring the right things. Seeding the database. And then that vite config timestamp thing is triggering it. We'll have to just ignore it. It's really weird, but we're going to add it to the ignore list. Try again. Restarting due to changes. That rule didn't work, apparently. See, that gets... that gets parsed as this. Let's see. Man. Oh, thank you, Yahitix. I appreciate that. Try ts.star. Welcome in, Michael. Good to see you. If you want to know the options allowed in the nodemon.json, cool. And hey, Ricky, good to see you. My ignore pattern isn't working. Like, we can see that it shows up. We can see when nodemon first starts up, this is the rule that it converts it to. It could be the **** is messing with us. We specifically want to... We don't want to add the *****. Like, we want to... Yeah, it's making it a directory match instead of a file match. The issue is it's at the root, so we can't ignore. They're at the root. There's a bunch of them. Was it MJS? We could try to do star.mjs. Yeah, I'll try that, Julian. I like that idea. So tell it that it's already a directory? No, it still did it. Yeah. We could try that. I'm just curious if they have an option for like ignore file instead of ignore directory. Honestly, the schema could help us. Variables dependent. I have no idea why these files are generated, and I'm too afraid to ask. No, I think ultimately, right now, it doesn't matter that they get generated. Well, I guess the issue that I found on Vite is like it's just gonna create those files. That's what happens. Where were we? Here. Ignore. Ignore directory or file. One entry per ignored value. Wildcards are allowed. Path or pattern of file or directory to ignore. Can also use regular expressions wrapped in an object with a single property named re. That's probably what I need. Yeah, I think that's what I need. I need to put the file extension on it. Hey, nice. Nice. Okay, let's see what happens. It didn't work. Files triggering the change. Another MJS file. But it did parse it correctly, because now it's showing up like this. Maybe I still need the dot slash? Oh, I'll just leave it. I'll leave it. It said files triggering change check, but it didn't actually restart. Cool. Yeah, didn't restart. Tests are running. I think the issue now is if the test command fails, nodemon will auto restart. If it works, I feel like the wizard. You are a wizard, Dumpty Dum. You are. Thank you for your help. All right, tests are running. It's happening. Um, tests are taking a long time though. We're working on a thing called listed. We've been working on it for a while now. You can find more info about it here. And I'm using a font called Anonymous Pro. I'm using the same font in my editor. And you can find more info about that here. Yeah, here. This repo has a link to my font and all my settings. Opinions about Laravel. I've never used it for anything, but I'm not opposed to it. I might try it one day. Great. 2 tests failed. But also, what happened with the rest of our tests? Why are these taking so long to run? All right, these other ones run. Oh, you can use those same commands on Twitch. Yeah, thank you. This is insane. Why is this taking so long? Hmm. At this point, though, if I change something, I think NodeMon will restart. Yeah. So it detected the change, and then it should attempt to reseed the database and rerun everything. Oh no, it didn't though. It didn't like it detected that it changed, but it didn't trigger it because we added .svelte files, but they're not getting included here in extensions. So that's an issue. Extensions? Oh, ext is what we want. I'm baffled that these tests would take so much longer inside the container. Something weird happening. Like I tried to start it up so many times that I mean, I don't know why I would do it. Let's do a Docker system prune. That'll delete a bunch of stuff. Why would I want to run nodemon and test at the same time? So right now, we're trying to work it out so that if a file changes, we want to rerun the tests. So like when we're in development mode, we want a nice experience of like making the change and then the test automatically rerun. Yeah, 6 gigabytes reclaimed. Let's see if they run any faster now. Nice. Extension.match is not a function. It didn't like what we added to this. Oh, it's a string. A comma separated string? Yeah, comma separated string with no dots. Oh, thank you, Nookie Poo. Thank you for the prime. That seemed to work. So we're looking at TypeScript, Svelte, and JavaScript files. Setting up the database, building. It built. It's going to run preview and run the tests. Yeah, that's the truth. I mean, I'm honestly this close from scrapping this and just keep on making features. Like it's a bit too much work at this point to try to get everything um everything automated in this way. Restart the Docker daemon itself. I don't know if that would do it. I mean, we can try it. I don't know if that'll do anything. Let's see if we can make it restart. Save the file. Yeah, it killed everything. Reset the database. But did it actually kill the test? What I'm worried about is these are like zombie tests that are like still running. I feel the same way, V, but I think like the whole mentality was like, ideally we shouldn't be adding new features unless we have tests to make sure that we're not introducing any regressions. But it's taken so long to just get the test set up in a nice way. We haven't worked on any features in like 2-3 months. Yeah. What's up, bro? Can't you just use Playwright in watch mode and start the dev server normally? We could probably do Playwright in watch mode. The issue is I need it to reset the database every time Playwright reruns the tests. I guess technically we could run that script as a part of as part of Playwright setup instead of outside of it. Because check it out. Yeah, these things need to run every time before the Playwright tests, because we've written our stuff in a way that the tests need to be run against basically a fresh database, because it's using like seeded data. Yeah. Reseed the DB on file change is weird. No, well, how else do you do it? How else do you write tests that can run consistently without resetting the database accordingly? I think you could potentially write each individual test, like you would write the up and the down of the test to seed the specific data for that test. That probably would be the way to go. We would have to rewrite all of our tests though, because right now we seed the whole database with all of our test data. This has like all of our test users and test info about each user that are being tested. And that gets seeded up front. But what we could do is inside of each test, insert the specific data that's required for that test. And then when that test is over, drop the specific data required for that test. Like this. So before we even log in the test user, we would do something like insert test user, and then test after all drop that user. Yeah. I mock for unit tests and run end-to-end tests after the feature is done. Never needed to do it in watch mode. Yeah, what's up, the real Greg? Welcome in. Yeah. Thank you for the tier 1. I'm at a loss. I really don't want to work on this anymore, and I kind of do want to work on features because this is demoralizing to constantly work on the configs, to constantly work on Docker and stuff. Um, I think I am going to. I'm gonna call it here, and just we're gonna implement some features. Features, features, features. Now, um, yeah, features. Everyone's excited about features. Now, are any of these changes useful? I don't think they are. We're gonna scrap all of these changes that we made. Yeah. I mean, we'll add it. Call it a work in progress. Um, we'll go back. We'll go back to main, and we'll just make sure that our tests still pass. The original ones. Apparently, there's a new Prisma client. We can upgrade to that. I'm not gonna do that though. Back to our happy place. Hopefully, I think yeah. Yeah, main has the latest. Yeah, so you can see I mean the tests are happening in this container for whatever reason. Um I don't know why the watch container would run the test so slow. But man, login button redirects to Google. And that timed out. Oh well, that's it's a pass. Here we go. You know what we're gonna work on? We're gonna make the landing page look better. Um, landing page or homepage UI. That's what we're gonna work on. We're just gonna ignore it because I bet if I run the tests again, they'll pass. Um, here we go. Yeah, well, watch me. We've had some ideas about what the list UI could look like on the homepage, and so that's just what I'm gonna do. I'm not even gonna wireframe it. We're just gonna go for it. It's gonna be great. So, um, if you take a look at this, it's ugly. Basically, every list has channels associated with it. So we could do an interesting thing on the homepage where, like, let's say we show the icons for all of the channels, and then maybe like a grid of the latest 4 videos from that list, if that makes sense. And then, like, instead of a list, even this could be a grid to click on, like a grid that looks like this, if that makes sense. That's my plan. That's my plan. Let's do it. So, if we go to the homepage, so routes, routes, page.svelte. This is the homepage. And this is where we're showing them all. So we're showing them in this this unordered list here, but I just want them to all be cards. And I also wanted to fill up the full width. I think right now this max width small is making it, or was making it, Yeah, so now that fills up the whole thing. I'm mixing Tailwind and regular CSS. No, this is all Tailwind. It's all Tailwind. But we're using a library called Skeleton, which gives us some components and pre-created classes. Yeah. Yeah. Um, why is why is why is the list? Oh, is it because I have MX Auto? Item Center? Okay, that's what I want to see. I just want, I just want like a sanity check. I want to make sure like this takes up the full width. All right. Um, in that case, now we have the list here, but I don't want it to be an unordered list. I kind of just want it to be a div container, and then each item is going to be like a list card. So we'll create a custom component called like list card, and we'll pass the list down to the list card. And the list will link to the list itself. But for now, we need to create a list card. So here's what we do. We go to lib, components. We want a list card. And we need some props. So our list is going to be of type whatever the data.list. So data.list is of type are these from, okay, these are route types. We can look at the data loader for the home page, this one, page.server. And then list is, so it's actually, yeah, it's our type coming back from the Prisma client here. So list is of type list. Okay, so we have the list. For now, let's just have a div. It'll have a class of card. And then a little paragraph tag with list dot title. Let's see what happens. 500 internal server error. Great. Great. List card isn't defined. Good. We need to actually import list card over on the home page over here. Can you find it? You can. So import list card. Hey, we're on our way. So we put it in a separate component. It has the title. Awesome. Now we can start adding all of the things. So what I want is I want to show the channel icon for every channel in that list. So inside this div, we're gonna have a repeat. So list dot list dot what? Channels? The types aren't really flowing through here. If we look at our Prisma schema, a list should have items. Okay. Then I want a span that has item Items doesn't exist on type list. Well, that's not true. Because each item should be a list item, which has like the name of the channel, and then we could go in and get the meta, etc., etc. Why would this type not have? It's not annotated to have the items on it. Regenerate the client? Yeah, let's try it. I'm getting all these weird autocomplete. We're gonna restart VS Code. What's going on? Items doesn't exist on type. It should at least tell me that it's possibly null. Like I don't want to have to create a custom type. Yeah, reloading the window restarts the TypeScript server. I mean, here's the thing. If we look at the resulting data from here, so for each list dot, yeah, it doesn't have it. Oh, because we're not including it. I see. I see. We need a much heftier query. So when we go to the specific list page, we need a query like this, where, yeah, this whole type here, where we like include YouTube meta. Yeah. And then, but we're not getting the video. Okay, so I think I have it. So here, instead of doing, well, no, that's each individual list. Um, I basically want this same query here. So right now, we're only finding the top level data of the list. We want to include all that extra stuff. Like this. Should I put this in a reusable spot? I think so. I'm curious why the type doesn't include all the extra stuff, but this type does. An option to include the relations on the types. Okay, that's basically what we need to do. I was definitely missing this piece. Like we need to include the sub stuff. And the type does flow through here. But we also need it over here. But yeah, I'll look at the link that you sent, because if there's a way to just grab the type or like tell it to use the related types. Oh, include, and then all the ones we want to include. Cool. Great. then how did they bring in Prisma? So they brought in Prisma. And then type list with items is Prisma dot list get payload include items. All right, how do I get even the nested type there? Can I go nested? Let's look at our type. Let's see. But I mean, I guess I could combine the types if it doesn't work this way. But basically we want list with items, we want items with list item meta, and then we want list item meta with YouTube meta. We have like 4 levels of relationship we need to include here. So yeah, it should just be meta. Um Can I do something like type of with the query? User get payload prisma.user include. Yeah. The thing is, this gives us the items, and thank you, Speedstrat. Thank you for the resub. I think one thing we could do is say like type list with items and meta, and this would just be something like type union of this, and meta is of type meta. List item meta. But I think I also need to do meta with YT meta. And then this will be list item meta pay list item meta get payload include YouTube meta. Wow. Why is this complaining? Import is never used as a value. They both? Okay. I guess meta is optional? Yeah. Wow. The type, it fixed the type. Cool. But now these types, I need to be able to reuse these types because this is going to pass the data down, and then the parent page here lists has the correct type, but then we need to use that same type over here on list card. So I'm going to put this in a place where I can import it in both places. We do have a types directory. Do I put it in the types directory? Yeah, let's put it into a DB file in here. And then export all of these. And then now over here on the list card, this is going to be of type list with items and meta. We're getting there, everybody. This is it. This is it. Okay, but now items has the right type, and then item should have should have meta. Yeah, it has to go up all those directories. Yeah, and no worries, Rap Girl. This is honestly, this is like probably way too advanced for someone that's just getting coding. I think one thing you can take away is kind of being immersed in what I'm doing. In that, like, see how I use my editor, look at my flow and stuff like that. But this is definitely not beginner friendly. All right. Items are missing a meta property. Um, mm, that's not quite. This isn't the right type. Um, because items are going to be each channel, the top level info about each channel. But then each item, is this the right way to union the types? Like basically, I want to override the meta property in this type. Oh no, I think I need to do items like this. Um, like that. Is that what I want? Yeah. And then meta dot YouTube meta dot. Eventually, we want the avatar URL. Meta doesn't exist on this type, but we told it to. Items is a that array. Okay, I'm doing this wrong. I'm doing this wrong. I do something like this. Omit meta from items. Well, it's not included. Oh. Wait. No, I'm doing this wrong. Because it needs to be an array of things that are of this type. So items is a this array. How do I... If the type is an array type, how do I get the type that is the array? How do I get that type? I mean, I guess I could just do it all manually at this point. Like if I really am trying to do this, I could grab list, I could grab list item, I could grab list item meta, I could grab YouTube meta, and then yeah, we could just say list with items is list, and items is optional, and it's a type of list item. Like that. Yeah. Well, we'll go the other way. And then we also need list item with meta, and that's going to be list item where meta is an optional property that is list item meta. Like that. And then this would become that. We're getting there. We're almost there. And then list item meta with YouTube meta is going to be list item meta that has an optional YouTube meta property. Think like this. So a list is an item of list item meta. Each one of those things could have a meta property, and then each one of those could have a YouTube meta property. Does this type still work over here? Well, first of all, this should now work. I thought, anyways. But it needs to be happy about this type now. And that doesn't complain. So the find mini overlaps with the type that I created there. We're on the right track. Thing is, items could be according to our type, items could be undefined. I think that's why this is complaining. We'll just wrap it in an if. Okay. Item, meta, YouTube meta, avatar URL. Property YouTube meta does not exist on type. Meta oh, because I need to change it to be this type. Now watch. Everything, yeah, there we go. So now we got a bunch of avatar URLs, and now we can actually show them. If we look at how we implement the channel card, we do show the avatar URL on there. So simple. Yeah, it's easy. It's easy. Everyone's following, right? Everyone's completely following. But now we should be able to actually include, yeah, we'll do a span. We'll do that. And we'll include the URL and the name. Hey, it's happening, everybody. It's happening. So now every list has all the icons associated with that list. I think there was a reason we didn't use avatars. Yeah, I do think there was a reason. Totally lost, but you have a calming voice, so I'm okay. Yeah, ultimately, let's take a step back to see what happened here. Because we needed to be able to pass down the list here to that nested component so that it can access all of the information about the list itself. So like the icon, and then in a second we're going to get like the latest video of each one and stuff like that. But if you look at the data we were loading before, oh, I guess the type doesn't overlap anymore. Types of property items are incompatible. Man. I mean, I could. I'm pretty sure my types are right, so I think if I do a type assertion, then it's going to say, well, then that type doesn't overlap. Yeah, well, as unknown and oh, it never imported it. Why? I thought we had imported it. Ah, because we want lists with items and meta. What's the type that we want? We want list with items. That gets imported from there. It doesn't think the types overlap, so we will make them overlap. And see you later, Melez. Oh. Like that? Oh. There we go. Okay, back to what I was saying. This database query returns a list that has all of its nested properties joined back together. And so that type we had to create here. That the whole point of this is so that we get good type completion. Like technically, this is JavaScript. Technically, we didn't have to create that type, but now having that type gives us really good type completion. And basically, apparently there was a built-in way in Prisma to create the type that has the included types. Ultimately, the query to get the data we needed is like 3 joins, because we need the list, we need its list items, and then each list item has list item meta. We need those too, and then list item meta has YouTube meta, which eventually has the avatar URL. So we need like 3 joins deep, and we need a type that represents that joined data, which is why we ended up creating this. So now when this page loads here, it has that data, and then it has the right type. You can see list is now a list with items. So it has the right type. That gets passed down. And now over here, we have the right types so we can get type completion about like the avatar URL and all of that other stuff. So great. Awesome. I think what we'll do now is we'll make these cards. So these cards will look similar to, actually we can also link to the, make this an anchor tag. So we need to link to the list page. Like this. Element should have an href attribute. How? Can I do that? Yeah, I can. Okay, so now I can click on the list and it loads it. Good. Good. We're on our way. Yeah. Oh, no worries, Shark Up. Thank you for hanging out. Okay, we're getting closer. Now I want to style these like these cards. So I'm gonna copy the parent container classes that I'm using for these cards because I do believe like it it goes from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. Yeah, or to 5. We want to copy those rules for the lists themselves. So if we look at the list page, and see you later, Dr. Phantom. Thanks for hanging out. We can see parent container. Has this. We want that. I guess technically, if I'm going to be reusing it like this, I could create a mixin. Is this the point where I create a Tailwind mixin? I don't know if it's called a mixin, but basically, I want to put all of those classes into a single class name. How would I do that? Do I do it in my Tailwind config? Extracting classes with apply. We do this at layer. So we do it in our file over here. We could call this video grid. And we apply all of those classes. Will this work? Let's see. If we replace this with that, does it still work? It appears to still work. So now we can reuse that class video grid, or video grid. On here. Thank you, Lifeport. Cool. We're getting close. This is looking better. I think we want to increase the font size of the title of the list. So how do we do that? Text XL maybe? So on the card, text XL. That's better. I think we'll have a max of like 5 icons. Yeah. We'll do a max of 5 icons. Anything, yeah, so anything beyond that will uh ellipses. So we want some kind of computed property, something like the what do we call it? Truncated list? Truncated items. We will slice from 0 to 4. And then we'll do this. Okay. So now there are a maximum of 4. Do we want there to be a maximum of 5? Yeah. Yeah, I think we could use an H tag, Nick. I think that makes sense. Let's make this like a H3. Const will prevent it from being computed. I think that's okay. Like these aren't going to be dynamic. Like this page reloads every time. So like if we go in here, actually we could see this in action. If I go to this list, only Coding Garden, and then I edit it to add the Coding Garden archive. Only Coding Garden and the archive. So if we update it, the list gets updated here, but then when I go to the home page, it gets updated as well. So yeah, I don't think we don't need to listen for the recompute because it really only happens when you're not on this page. Figure out the overflow on the good mythical one. Yeah. Okay. And then I also want something like is truncated. And that would be if list items dot length does not equal truncated items dot length. Five creators with the most recent uploads. I like that idea, but I don't think I'm going to implement it right now. I'm just going to get it looking good, and then we can add more logic in to decide like what's displayed and how it's displayed. So if we are truncated, then we show a dot dot dot. like that. I think it's fine. I think we also want a little bit of spacing here. So like push those down, maybe even more from the title. Yeah, so they get pushed down a little bit from the title. And then we want to have the description. Do we put the description below the thing? So list dot description. Now I think above makes more sense. The whole card needs some padding. Yeah. More. Better. It's looking better. Honestly, I think I want to do this. We're going to limit it to 4, and then here we'll say hidden items, and that's going to be the total amount minus the truncated amount. And then we'll say if hidden items is greater than 0, we'll say, and hidden items more, ... These icons aren't loading for some reason. We could go even less. We could say only show 3. Does the text fit? Yeah, so that and 3 more, that and 2 more, that and 1 more. It's looking better. Yeah, I think you're right, Mark Boots. If the description is of varying lines, then it could change the flow. I'm curious why these aren't loading. Hmm. Yeah, those avatar URLs aren't loading here. We do need a fallback icon. We do. Um. All right. Replaced by a circle with +2. Yeah, maybe. um, I think the other thing we wanted to do though is to grab the latest video of all the channels. I don't think I want to do that right now because that's gonna require basically requesting all of the videos because yeah, that's a little too crazy for right now. Um, but the thought is we would include like thumbnails of the 4 latest videos from the list. Yeah. The other thing is right now on the homepage, the lists are in update order instead of in um, creation order. Do we have an order by? Yeah, order by. Created at descending? Because that'll put the most recent ones at the top, right? New list. Cool. So that created it, and then over here, it's at the top. Nice. Um. All right. Help me out in the chat. What can we um what can we change about this or what can we add to it? I mean, we could also sort by updated at, so that way your most recently updated one is always at the beginning. Um, this is better than before. At least it's a little bit more visual. I am curious why these avatars aren't loading. Yeah, that's what somebody else mentioned, Alka. I think we will do that. I think we'll do that. Trying to think, like, do we just create like a little icon it looks the same as the avatars, but it has like a plus sign inside of it. But yeah, let me see why those images aren't loading. It gives us a 404. Yeah. Um. Jan. Jan Litkowski, good to see you. Okay, something's weird. I think their API is returning two different things. So like when we request the metadata from a separate endpoint, it gives us this URL, but when we request it in the search, we get a different URL. I don't know if that's something we can fix right now. I think the other issue is like we have no way of knowing that the URL that their API gave us back is gonna 404. Like we have no way of I guess we could create a custom image loader component that like tries to load the image. If there's an error, replaces it. Cool. All right, let's work on this plus 2 plus 3 thing, because that should honestly be easy enough. We could give this. Did we decide how we're doing custom CSS? But yeah, let's try to style this with Tailwind. So we'll make this inline block. We'll have it. Does Tailwind have an avatar class? Do they have like a border radius full? Or like a circle class? Um, is there a circle? Placeholder circle. Wait, what? It just exists? Rounded full? Background. Secondary 500. There's that. I guess we need this. Yeah, it was right there, rounded full. And then we need to tell it to be inline block so we can give it a height and width. Um, we'll make it a flex box. Item center. Make it an inline flex. And justify center. It's happening. It's happening. Is this what you all had in mind? Because like, yeah, no, this is like +4, +3. Are we getting there? Nice. Nice. We did it, sort of. Beautiful. Okay. What we can do next, this actually will be fun to implement, is create an avatar loader. And so if the avatar 404s, we default to like a little circle with a letter inside of it. So let's do that. This whole thing right here. I mean, do we even need the span to wrap it? Yeah, we didn't need a span. Yeah. Listed red for more channel icons. Yeah, I think if we use background primary, like that little red, I like that. Select for sorting would be cool. Yeah, it's gonna be hard to sort right now though. Really, the only attributes we have are like alphabetical created at and updated at. If we want more information like most recently uploaded, that is gonna take more work. But let's do this. We're going to create a little component that takes this stuff in and then like tries to load the image URL. So let's do it. We have a component. We're going to call this the channel avatar. It does this. Honestly, it doesn't even need to be a channel avatar. We'll make it generic enough so we don't have to know about the type. We can just pass things in. Let's just call this a avatar with fallback. And this will have a image URL and a alt. I guess we can call it avatar URL. That would be more appropriate because the component is called avatar. And we'll call this alt text. Those are both required attributes. Is there a way to split this up from HTML similar to Angular? Not that I know of. I don't think you can have a separate template from your component. But I think what we can do is say on error. We'll say like set fallback. Or show fallback. Yeah. Set show fallback. And then we can have a function. Set show fallback. If this gets called, we just say show fallback is true. And then show fallback defaults to false. Why is this complaining? Move function declaration to program root. No inner declarations. What? This is the program root. Why have we not seen that? Do we do this? We just make it an arrow function and then ESLint is happy? I guess that's fine. So we'll say if don't show fallback, we show this. Else, we show this. Done. And the fallback is going to look like this. But instead of showing this will be the fallback text. And the fallback text is just going to be the first letter of the alt text. Like that. Honestly, I would probably just do this in line. Do it like this. I'd prefer that. Right? And I think I don't want primary. I think I want secondary. And let's try it. Let's try it. So now over here, we should be able to use the avatar with fallback. Yeah, we'll increase the text size. Let's see how it looks. We want these two props. But instead of source, this is going to be avatar URL and then alt text. Assume it exists. We'll give these default values. First try. That's awesome. Yeah. So those didn't load, and then we're just showing the first letter of their name. I guess we could show if the name has multiple, we could grab the first letter of each. So something like alt text. Where did the margin go between them? What did I break? Wait, it's broken. All three of those didn't load. Error loading avatar URL. Oh. Is it because they're server rendered? It is because they're server rendered. Isn't it? They're initially server rendered, so this event handler doesn't get added. Yeah, so they work when I add the console log because they didn't hot reloads. But the issue is the server render loads on the page and the event listeners aren't added for that. Yeah, like if I change the code and save it, then the code reruns locally without server rendering, and then that happens. I guess, is there a way to tell SvelteKit that these listeners need to get added when it is oh, you know what? We could just default it to true. Right? Or not? I don't know. On load. Show fallback false. And then default it to true. No, because then it would never appear on the page. All right, we just need to figure out how to tell SvelteKit that it should run those event listeners. SvelteKit image event listener not running SSR. SvelteKit event listeners. But now I do see that we were missing that. Do I want an on mount? I guess I need to do something to tell SvelteKit that this should run on the client, but I mean, do I though? Like this very clearly is an event listener that needs to run on the client. Hmm. Import browser. Does it help if you only run it on the browser? Um, I don't like. How come we haven't run into this before? Right? Like we have elements that have event listeners on them. Um, hmm. I mean, I could do. I think if I do on mount, um, so we'll bring on mount in. We could do something like set the URL. Um, like current URL is nothing, and then when we mount, we'll set current URL to be the avatar URL, and then that could trigger an error. Yeah, that seems to work. I think. Yeah, you can see they all start off as nothing though. I think, which is good. So basically what I did was this on mount will just set it from nothing to the actual value, so that actually does end up running on the client. Cool. All right, now let's do the thing where we're showing more than just one. And also did yeah, I think the spacing was fixed because I added that margin right one. But now let's pick multiple letters, like up to 3 letters. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, up to 3 letters. So split on spaces. We will grab the first 3, map it to just get the first letter. And then join it all together. Nice. Nice. GMM. But now we should reuse that component over here. Slick. Yeah, I mean, we talked about this though, that like technically this is multiple iterations, like split it, splice it, or slice it, map it, join it. It's a bunch of iterations. I don't think we have to worry about performance here. Okay, but now that we have this component, we can reuse it in the channel card. Yeah, so like right here, we were just putting that image in. Now we can use this component like this. Import it. Remove that. Run the linter. And good to go. So now I mean, that's reusability, my friends. Like we took this thing we're doing in multiple places, we put it into a component, and now anywhere we need a potential fallback avatar, we can use that component. Cool. I'm happy with that. Um, yeah, I'm happy. That create button is like way too wide. Um, let's fix that. Like, do we add like a max width or something? Like, technically, the parent is a flex box. It's too big. Extra small? Yeah, I like that. Um, the parent. It's doing justify center. Do we need item center too? Cool. We click this. We create the list. I think this looks pretty good. I think I'm gonna call it here. Um, today was a day. Um, no, we're using a thing called skeleton. So this is built on top of Tailwind, but it gives us classes like BTN and things like that that look like Bootstrap, but they're custom to skeleton. All right, I'm gonna commit this, push it up. I think this is a good enough change for today. At least we made some progress. It looks better than normal. Like now when we show the app, it's coming along. I think the next step is to add the thumbnails of each of the channels of like their latest videos, but we'll do that another time. Yeah, it was looking pretty bare before with just the title and the description. Now we'll see if the tests still pass. They should. I could imagine it's possible that clicking a channel might be broken because the test selector might be slightly different. Let's see. Yeah, one of the tests failed. The edit list test and the um okay. Let's see why. Let's see why. Waiting for locator list nav to be visible. That's I think on us. I think did that change? Um onboarded user can edit their own list. List nav.list. Yeah, I think that selector changed. This used to be listnav.list. I think it's video grid now. So this is the edit list test. And then each item in the video grid is an anchor tag? Yeah, it's this. Okay, so that should fix that. View list. User with list can see lists on the home page. That also, we need to update the selector. Video grid. Video grid. Yeah, video grid. I called it the wrong thing. Thank you, Zerali. Video grid. Working Veep plugin to remove test IDs. Great. I'll take a look at it. We'll get it added after this. Welcome in, Oscar. Good to see you. All right, that should help. User with lists can see lists on the homepage. Yep, we fixed that one. But then this one timed out. Did this one time out because that one didn't run? Let's try again. Yeah, let's look at Veeb's plugin here. Should go before SvelteKit. Specify the file type, give it the attribute to remove. We missed enforce pre. Okay. Here's the thing though, Veeb. I thought somebody mentioned earlier that they made a PR. Was it for something else? Yeah, they did it. Maybe you missed that, but they mentioned that we needed this piece right there. Test pass? Test pass! Great. Test pass. Oof, okay. Nice work, everyone. We did it. Yeah, I think I'm okay with this too. We don't even have to define a separate plugin file. We can do that. Do we like this regex though? Because this doesn't have any white space, which I guess is fine. Because that way, no, this is fine. But this gets to an issue that was actually revealed. Well, I'll make a PR against myself. If someone else opens a PR and then I allow the test to run on GitHub for public repositories, pull requests, like the GitHub actions that run for pull requests, do not have access to the project environment variables or secrets. I think their reasoning is that like someone could add like a malicious PR that like tries to send your secrets to some server or something like that. But I have an issue open for it right now. And like specifically in their documentation, it says that secrets are not passed to workflows that are triggered by a pull request from a fork. So Um, that's an issue. Well, this one will pass because I'm a maintainer of the repo and I have access to them. But uh, this will fail at some point. Are you sure you want to run the test? Yeah, I am. But you can see, for example, none of the environment variables have their values. Whenever an action is running for a PR from a fork. So yeah. I remember Limotes. there, there are there are trade-offs to all of these things. Because I mean, when I was working at a consultancy, we would sometimes help out clients that had like someone else create their code base. And when you get into a situation like that, it's actually really cumbersome because it's like they didn't use any source control or like yeah, like code history tool. And so all the changes are just in prod, and it was literally just a developer like FTP uploading the files to prod. But yeah, this failed like I thought it would, because PRs don't have access to environment variables. Now, are we at a loss? Like how do other public projects run these things? If the forks can't have access to the secrets. I guess technically, in order to run that, they need to be like if you add someone as a collaborator, like if you add them as a collaborator to the repo, then they do get access to the secrets and variables. But I don't want to add everyone that makes a PR as a collaborator. Then they get like certain privileges to the repo if I do that. Yeah. What happened to the Travelog app? I mean, it's technically like mostly done. I got distracted by all the TypeScriptery I think in it. I remember a place where you just drag and drop the change files right into a directory. I had a vendor that put all of their source code on the server among the DLLs and everything else. So when pulling the code updates, we had to pull the source code files one by one. Wow. It is normal that there are different environment variables depending if it's prod or preview. Yeah. I mean, that's how we have this set up here. Like right now, we technically have what we call a test environment, and that's where we have all of those variables set. I think I'm just a little bit frustrated because of like trying to figure out the best flow for this, and then also like not necessarily finding any good examples online for it. Because like we spent all this time trying to get our end-to-end tests running consistently in Docker containers, and that seems fine. But now to get that same thing running in GitHub Actions, like we spent some time working on that. Now that works. But now that it's working, it only runs for people that are contributors. It doesn't run for everyone. I suppose other open source projects must download the branch and test locally. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, the reason I'm resistant to that is because we get so many PRs. Like, I want to see the test run on the CI server. What secrets are needed? If it's DB creds, we have GitHub Actions stand up a testing DB in a container that gets populated and test run against that. Yeah, we're already doing that. That's what we're doing. The secrets, though, are the YouTube client ID and secret, and also the YouTube API key. Those things are secrets that we can't just hard code in like the test container. Those need to be pulled in. Like if we go to the settings for the repo, we have this test environment, and then all of these. I guess like technically DB password doesn't have to be a secret. That could just be a value, an auth secret. But these three things do need to be encrypted. Like these shouldn't exist in the source code. Because like that's the other way to go about it is like all of these values, since they're technically not secret, we could actually hard code them for testing. Yeah, so like when we spin up the test containers, these could be hard coded, but we definitely can't hard code these things because we don't want these leaking. I don't know. I don't know. Hmm. Hmm. I'm gonna merge this in though, so that's fun. Yeah, I've been this morning. I was looking into that specific issue, so I saw that there was nothing that would leak. Hmm. Maybe a very locked down service account. Yeah, I mean honestly, that I like your thinking, right? So like we have some Google account where we don't mind if the API key gets leaked. Um, that's the main issue though, is if we hard code that API key in somewhere, somebody could use it to call the API, and then they would potentially like um make a bunch of requests, and our quota would go way down, or like yeah, the available request would go way down. I don't think so. I took it though. Like, I don't know if they have test APIs or anything like that. Um, I don't think they do. Yeah, I don't think they do. Because like even right now in our end-to-end tests, like we're not doing a full OAuth flow, because at that point we would be testing like Google OAuth and Google's YouTube. Um, so our end-to-end test just make sure that we get redirected, and then we have seeded data that has like a seeded user that is already logged in that doesn't have to do the OAuth. Um, I don't know why I mentioned that. Does LGTM comments on PRs annoy anyone as much as they? I think at this point it's just a meme and a joke. Anytime I see it, and anytime I comment it, I laugh. I think it's a meme. I don't know if I get annoyed. Maybe I do, but I also laugh. So I don't know. I don't know. All right. I also said I was gonna make a video. I'm not. I think we're too far gone. We need a listed development day where we do nothing but work on features. Um, we technically we probably need a day where we just do some project planning, right? So I think we started at a point creating issues. Like we started creating issues in the backlog, but we didn't really create enough or prioritize them. And that would probably be useful just to get a better idea of like what is left and what do we actually want to work on. But it also feels like we're not using our time effectively if we spend an entire day just creating issues, tasks, and prioritizing them. But it does seem necessary. Yeah. I think web development culture just annoys me these days. I agree. Actually, I completely I do agree. Um yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Go back to the main branch. Here we are. I think honestly I think I need to do some soul searching. I need to make a list of pros and cons and make a plan for listed, because right now it kind of does seem like endless development. Like we have no end in sight because of all the GitHub actions and like Docker container stuff that we were working on. When this maybe this we just can't do that on this project. Maybe we just I don't know. I'll have to think about it. But I am going to get out of here. Let me leave you with some things. So definitely keep an eye on the schedule. I will update the schedule on Monday. And let's make a list. We'll make a list to talk about how to finish listed. But yeah, I'll update the calendar on Monday with streams that are going to be happening next week. And also join the mailing list, because I send out an email every Monday that gives you an update of like what happened last week, what's going to be happening this week, including what streams are going to be happening. We've been more active in the Discord, so if you'd like a place to hang out and chat, definitely join our Discord. I'll show you really quick. We have a weekly discussion channel, a daily stand-up channel, and also we've started doing community events. So let me show you that. So once you join the Discord, be sure to click on channels and roles, and be sure to choose all the things that you would like, and including notifications, because I also send go live notifications on Discord. But if you look under discussion, we have daily stand up. This is a place where people have been posting kind of just to stay accountable. Like, what did you do yesterday? What are you going to do today? What have you been working on? So for some people, it helps them stay accountable. It also gives you some visibility into the community and like the people that like to hang out in the Discord. The weekly challenges here, we're going to be reviewing this on Monday. So you still have time to give it a try. But this is the weekly challenge. We have 3 different code katas that I'd like you to try and do, depending on your expertise level. So if you're interested, check out weekly challenge, give these a try, post your code in here. And then right now, the weekly discussion topic is, are you using TypeScript in your JavaScript project? If so, why? If not, why not? What are some benefits you've noticed of using it? What are some downfalls? And if you haven't started using TypeScript, what is stopping you from making the switch? So if you have opinions on this, we'd love to hear it. And we'll have a discussion on Monday to talk about it all. Stoph said, just wanted to say this has been amazing to join in on again. Didn't really have the time to watch lately, so this has been nice. Looking forward to the next stream. Thank you, Stoph. Or Stoph? Stoph? I get a little self-conscious when we don't get things done, or if I get frustrated. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you got something out of it. Cool. Who? Yeah, honestly, that might be something we do, is use the live chat channel during the live stream, so that way people can post links to things. Stuf. How is the umlaut pronounced? Über? Stuf? Is it Stuf? Yeah, I'm gonna think about this. I think it would be nice to include. There's Stefan. It would be nice to include Discord chats in this overlay, so that way, if you send like a link or something, I can see it in my chat overlay. But regardless, join the Discord. It's fun, and also we're going to be doing community events. Probably do it bi-weekly, but we had one on Wednesday. It was pretty fun. We played, and honestly, this one's relevant. We played Gardic Phone and a bunch of other games. But yeah, if you haven't seen Gardic Phone, it's like a game of telephone, but with Pictionary. I'll let it run again and I'll explain it. So someone basically gives a prompt, the never-ending development of listed. Then somebody draws a picture like this. Then somebody describes that picture, and then somebody has to draw their description. And then somebody describes that, and then et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, we played Gardic Phone, we played Cards Against Humanity, we played some Funi games, we played a Scribble game. So definitely check out the community events channel if you're interested in that kind of thing. All right, I'm going to get out of here. Stay awesome, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully, we'll get more done next week. Or hopefully, we have a better plan next week of listed going forward. All right. Wherever you are in the world, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night. And until next time, here's this.